Now, I'm a huge fan of wearing whatever makes you feel good, but there are some trends that have been pretty big this year that I think need to stay in 2023. Hi, I'm Leonie and welcome to my channel. Now, I love fashion trends. For me, they serve as a guideline as to what is going to be in fashion, what I can expect to see in some of my favorite stores. But sometimes it's very easy to get a little too influenced by some of those trends and buy pieces that are just not going to serve you, especially for the long term. So today I'm going to share 10 trends that have been happening this year that are not worth taking into 2024. And given that 2024 is just around the corner, I'm hoping that this will potentially help you from buying some of these pieces, or maybe, giving some of the pieces that you own a little bit of a second thought. But of course, these videos are always contentious. If you love something and it suits you, please wear it. And also let me know in the comments below if you agree or you don't agree with some of these predictions or some of my trends that I'm thinking need to stay right where they are in 2023. Okay, the first trend that I think needs to stay right here in 2023 is tie front cardies. But there is a caveat here, tie front cardies worn with nothing underneath. I think I've just seen too many of them that just don't kind of look so great. Now, don't get me wrong, if you love a tie front cardie, I think they look great with a tank or a nice camisole or just something underneath, even a bodysuit. But worn with absolutely nothing underneath, I just think that there's too much room for error and it just doesn't always look as elegant or as elevated as it could. So for that reason, that is number one on my hit list. Now, there was a bit of talk about low-rise jeans coming back into style, but it seems to have been quashed by a lot of people kind of rejecting the notion of bringing back low-rise jeans. And I think that they need to kind of stay where they are, wherever they are, whether it's, I don't know where they are, but luckily they haven't really gained momentum this year, and it seems as though next year we're going to see more of what we have already been enjoying, which is more sort of wide leg jeans and cargo style denim. Skinny jeans are happening, but low rise is not really where it's at next year. So I believe that they are number two on my list to stay right where they are 2023, and they were kind of only just here anyway, but low rise, goodbye. And while we're on the subject of denim, there has been a little distressing that's been sort of creeping back into denim over the last couple of months. But what I do think that we should be focusing on for especially the new year is more of a darker wash denim. The darker washes are definitely on their way back, and I do think that they make for a more versatile, more chic, and a little bit more of an elevated approach to denim as opposed to really distressed pieces. My fear is that once we start distressing denim, it's a bit of a slippery slope and we'll end up with super distressed styles happening again. That sounds like a tongue twister. So for that reason, I do think we need to leave the distressing right here and move forward with more of the darker washed, more elevated denim looks. And now I'm just going to take a brief moment to thank the sponsor of today's episode, and that is Squarespace. Now, Squarespace is an online website builder and host, and I've used them for a few years now to host my website and others. You can use them for a blog, an e-commerce store, or whatever presence you need online. They have these amazing templates that you can drag and drop and customize to suit your needs and get everything up and running smoothly. They also have incredible built-in SEO tools and an incredible 24/7 customer support team in case you need a little help. If you'd like to try out Squarespace for yourself, what I suggest you do is whipping on over to squarespace.com, take advantage of their free trial, and then when you are ready to push play, simply use my unique URL, which is squarespace.com/The Style Insider, and that will save you 10% off your first website or domain with Squarespace. I will leave a link in the description box below and a little bit more information, but if you are looking at launching yourself online this year or next, then Squarespace is definitely the way to do it. And when it comes to accessories, we've seen this huge trend for sporting tiny, micro, mini little purses and handbags. And they are being replaced next year for more of a sort of a slouchy, relaxed, and slightly, well, quite a bit larger size. Now, they're not oversized, but they're a lot bigger than the micro mini bags that we've seen this year. And that's why I truly believe that those micro mini bags that are not very functional, not very practical, need to stay right here in 2023. Now, this one is a little tricky for me to include, but I'm suggesting that we leave the really chunky lug sole boots in 2023 and move forward into the new year with more of a moto style, motorbike style boot. So still a bit of a grunty boot and something that's a little tough and has some edge to it, but not the extreme stomping around lug style boots that we have seen over the last couple of years. Boots are becoming a little more refined next year, but don't worry if you do love a chunky boot. Chunky is still happening, just not those extreme chunky styles that we have seen this year. Now, I personally think that this one is a bit of a no-brainer, but barbiecore is something that needs to stay in 2023, okay? I totally get it. The Barbie movie happened this year, and we were all a little bit too excited about bright pops of pink, but I do believe that unless pink is absolutely your color and suits your lifestyle, pink in the way of barbiecore, which is probably a little bit more of a top to toe pink look, probably needs to stay in the present and not taken forward into 2024. I do suspect I'll have a little bit of backlash on this one, so please let me know in the comments below if you still intend on embracing your inner Barbie and moving forward into the new year wearing pink. Or if not, please let me know, but I'm suggesting that barbiecore needs to stay right in this year when the Barbie movie came out, and we can just draw a line under that and move on. Now, I'm sure a lot of you will be pleased to hear that oversized, like very oversized man style clothing is something that we can quite comfortably leave in 2023. Now, don't get me wrong, we're still seeing some oversized silhouettes. So if you do have oversized blazers and they're not too extreme, still wear them and enjoy them, or potentially experiment with nipping them in at the waist with a chunky belt or a tie style belt. We are definitely seeing more nipped in waists in 2024. So if you did succumb to those supersized suit jackets and coats, which I certainly did, then think about just reinventing them next year. If you are going to take them into 2024, maybe just have a bit of a play and nip yourself in at the waist with some belts and see how that looks. Now, I'm not mad about this one at all, and I do think that I have probably been talking about it a little bit, and midi skirts are being replaced by maxis. Now, if you love a midi skirt and you feel that a maxi is going to overwhelm your frame or just sort of be a little bit too much, then definitely stick with your midis. But midis in 2024 are not going to be seen as often. They are definitely going to be replaced by a maxi skirt, maxi dresses, and that works for me. I particularly love the trend of maxis. I especially love them in summer when I don't have to worry about fake tan or how my legs are looking. But if you are a fan of maxis, get excited because next year is all about them. Whereas midis have been happening and we've sort of been transitioning from a midi length into a maxi. So if you're not a huge fan of midis, then you can just say goodbye to them and leave them right here in 2023. Now, there is a little bit of a theme going on here, but our chunky sneakers are being replaced next year for very much more of a fine line sneaker as well. I personally have just bought myself some Adidas Sambas. I've been wearing the white pair, white with the black stripes for the last couple of months now and loving them. I've just ordered myself a black pair. I've got to say, wearing slightly slimmer line sneakers did take a little bit of getting used to for me because I was wearing pretty much chunky sneakers for the last couple of years. But once you get used to them, these slimmer line sneakers actually look great. They're super flattering. They look really cool worn back with more of the baggy style pants that we are wearing and some of the wider leg jeans. And they also look great just worn with some socks and a skirt or a mini or with shorts. They're just a little less bulky, and for that reason, that's where sneaker trends are heading for 2024. Of course, if you love chunky sneakers and they're working for you, you're going to take them into 2024 and who knows, maybe beyond. But the key sneaker style for next year is definitely more of a slim line style. Another big trend for next year is the introduction of exciting outerwear pieces, and I would say that we can kind of say goodbye to our boring outerwear. And when I say boring, I know I have to tread really carefully with this because everyone tends to own a great black coat or a camel coat. And that's great. Maybe just park some of these pieces because next year is going to be all about interesting cuts, styles, and colors when it comes to our coats and jackets. So, of course, don't disregard some of your really good essential pieces that perhaps are a little more plain. Just hide them aside, keep them aside for a little bit further down the track. But essentially next year, our outerwear is getting a whole lot more exciting. And I'm very much here for it because when it's cold outside, we need as much dopamine dressing as we can possibly get. Well, that's certainly my opinion anyway. So look forward to exciting shapes, styles, and colors and prints and patterns when it comes to our outerwear. Now you know all about the fashion trends that need to stay here in 2023. I'm sure you're going to want to know the most wearable trends that we can expect to see next year in 2024. These trends are set to be huge. So click or tap on the screen here and I'll see you there.